Hello everyone, welcome to another Thomas video. So today we're taking a look at blue-white Stoneblade in Thomas format. So minor changes to the deck. We did get Force of Negation, which we're going to be playing 2 copies of instead of 4 copies like I did with the Sultai mid-range. Because the card was new, I thought maybe just having 4 copies was going to be a good idea, but turns out there's a lot of creature decks out there and Force of Negation just kind of flat out doesn't work against them. So we're only playing 2 copies and we have 1 copy in the sideboard. And this is going to be very useful against other combo decks, especially if you're going second. And alongside Force of Negation, we also play 4 copies of Flare of Denial and 2 copies of Mana Drain. So what cards are we cheating out with the Stoneforge Mystic in the deck? Compared to last time, we're playing Cryptic Code and a Cauldron Complete. The Cryptic Code is a blue mana card, which means that against the combo deck, getting rid of a Cryptic Code with the Force of Negation doesn't sound too bad. And Cauldron Complete is going to be our win con for the deck. And we also have another equipment from the Avatar set that we're going to be playing called a Meteor Sword. So it's a 7 mana card, a bit pricey, but it can get rid of any permanent on the battlefield, which is very, very nice. And it only costs 3 to equip, and it gives you a pretty sizable boost in toughness and power. So if you equip it to something like a Hydroponics Architect or even Tameo, they will become a very large creature compared to something like Cauldron Complete or Batterskull, which is almost impossible to equip because of the cost. There is a similar card to this called the Assimilation Aegis, which only costs 3 mana, but it can only get rid of a creature, and if you bounce the card, you can also get another ETB trigger out of it. So although the Meteor Sword has a very high reliance on the Stoneforge Mystic, I think it's still worth investigating. So having said that, I'm going to be hopping over to some Thomas vs. 3 to show you guys the deck does. So let's hop on over. Alright, we got Force of Negation, Protection, and Source, and Strip Mine. Oh, lovely. Okay, goodbye, Force of Negation or Source of Plowshare. So they went with that. Sure. I guess I just pass here. So they're going to be reanimating the Aatrox, unfortunately, but hopefully they don't get anything too crazy out of this. So they got either Entomb, Brainstorm. They got another Reanimate. So they could try it again with like a Reanimate Entomb, which is not ideal. So what I can now do is I can get rid of Watery Grave, which will delay opponent from being able to reanimate Entomb again, right? So I'll play the Tameo and then Strip Mine the Watery Grave so they can't do the same thing again. Really? Interesting. They went with the... I'm actually quite surprised what happened here. So I can transform the Tameo right now, which might be pretty good. Into Stoneforge Mystic and Mana Drain. Oh, did I just play a land?
Tell me everything you know about this place.
Now, Get rid of a troll here. Surely they don't have another reanimate, right?
Curious. I must investigate this scroll further.
All right. So let's just keep plussing. Or I could Stoneforge Mystic, but then I can't hold up a mana drain. So they go for Entomb again. I'm gonna let this through. That's their best card now? Okay, so this is a good information that now we have. They only play one copy of Aatroxa in the deck. Do they play Bowmaster in that deck, by the way? Doesn't seem like they do. Mystic Sanctuary. That is a good card. A Sink into Stupor. Oh, mana drain. I don't think we grab anything. Because I think we're gonna be using Stoneforge Mystic here. Yeah, we'll just Stoneforge Mystic. Let's grab a Cryptic Coat. And let's grab a Force of Negation.
A good story can refresh the mind.
I mean, opponent reanimated twice this game, by the way. And this is the board state. Actually amazing. Alrighty. Let's have a 3 Containment Priest. Ghost Vacuum. I think that's it. Prismatic Ending seems kind of bad. It does answer Tamio and Psychic Frog though, relatively easily. So I'm kind of hesitant to cut that. Meteor Sword. I can't take it out since we're kind of testing that card. I'm kind of thinking maybe like -1 Flare, -1 Hydroponics, -2 Ponder, and we'll go with that. Right. We have a tap land, but we have a double swords. Maybe that's not that bad.
Nothing like warm tea and a
This makes me
fascinating
think that
story.
opponent actually may not have a land. But kind of have to get rid of this, right? Like, but then if I source now, they're just going to... Okay, fine. I'll play the Hydroponics Architect. So the reason why I couldn't play the swords is because if they have a brainstorm, they would just respond with the brainstorm. So I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah. No, my Stoneforge Mystic.
I'll aid you.
How do they always have grief?
On the fight.
How do they
Mince
always
your
have grief
words.
there? I think I want lands at the moment. I really need this cryptic coat to land. That's kind of my plan right now.
I am not defenseless.
And then keep attacking the Tamio somehow, but... Seems like they have a... this is not good. It doesn't seem like I can land my cryptic coat because... Okay, maybe I can? Wait, what? I lied? I thought, for some reason I didn't play a land there.
Library.
Can I beat a Tamio that drew like million cards? I'm not sure if I can.
The history of the multiverse is at my fingertips.
So, what did we learn? Keeping a tap land hand is a disaster. And maybe I shouldn't have played afraid of just playing out the Swords of Plowshare because
I'm late for class.
they could just not have a Force of Negation. Right? So I played some things wrong here, for sure. Yeah, this entire game is a mess.
Some people never learn.
The opponent has a Force of Negation. We're not finding like fetch lands and stuff. Interesting card. I want them to counter this instead of something else. But... okay. So is it a Cauldron Complete or Meteor Sword? I'll go with the Meteor Sword. So they play Fatal Push. So it seems like they actually don't have a counter spell in hand. A Containment Priest. Well, I do like a Source to Plowshare. I'm not sure if I want to play the Source to Plowshare on that though. Another Fatal Push. Okay, let's try that again. It's a very mad looking hand, but we do have a Containment Priest, so maybe? Right, maybe? Ghost Vacuum. It would be nice if opponent didn't have like... okay. I was gonna say, it would be nice if opponent didn't have like a Grief turn 1. Things like that. Yeah, they always seem to have a Grief. Which is very, very annoying. So, because of the Orchestra Master, I probably can't attack. I don't know why they pinged the Containment Priest there. Okay, Tamiyo's very nice.
must investigate this scroll further.
A treasure cruise. Alright, let's try to kill the Orcish Bowmaster. And we'll top Source of Plowshare again. And pass a turn. I'm afraid of another Orcish Bowmaster showing up. Otherwise, I mean, that would be kind of a disaster in my opinion, so... kind of don't want that to happen. We'll try drawing now. Okay. So if I draw this, I can't leave up a Flare of Denial, right? Which is not ideal. Okay, Entomb, short. So Grief comes out, I am going to Flare of Denial. Okay, Strip Mine was actually pretty excellent there. Get rid of this thing. Two toughness. Should I just let this transform and then just Source of Plowshare this and attack? I could do that. I guess it's only bad if they have like a removal spell. Like if this is a removal spell, then that's pretty bad.
In the right hands, knowledge is the sharpest blade. But I thought knowledge was power.
Okay.
I hope you don't mind if I take notes. Think before you act.
Could be an Orcish Master, so I'm just gonna pass here.
Respect the library.
I think it's pretty safe to attack from now on. So I'm guessing this is a reanimate in hand. Prismatic ending. Do I want to prismatic ending the clue token? This basically translates to another card, so guess doing this doesn't seem so bad. Okay, so I know this last card is reanimate.
Clearly, you're not here to learn.
Yep, that last card is reanimate. Right, GG's. Yeah, actually the matchup doesn't seem that bad, by the way. Alright. Very reactive hand, but because I'm going second, I think I should keep a hand like this with the Force of Negation, I think. Watery Grave. Into Hydroponics Architect. So it seems like opponent has a subtlety, by the way. Seems like opponent has a subtlety. Kinda wonder what kind of deck opponent's playing, though. Could just be another Reanimator that we just played against. Yeah, it could be. Yep, seems like we just played against this Reanimator. We are drawing nothing but lands, which kinda does worry me, honestly. Like, this is definitely not ideal. I'm not very happy with drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lands so far. Like, that's not cool.
Oh! How am I supposed to focus on only one project?
Yeah, it seems like they have a subtlety here, which is not good. Honestly, I think I need something better. My hand is so atrocious. It is so bad. I might actually have to force some negation this Brainstorm. I just can't. I can't wait. Hand is just so bad. Ooh-wee. Let's just go to next game. I feel like there's just no hope for that game to be even remotely possible. A cut to Ponders. Maybe even a copy of a Brainstorm. Because it seems like they do have like bunch of like if it's the same deck as the one that we just played before, they do seem like they play Orcish Bowmaster, so maybe Ponder is a little bit better in this kind of scenario. Okay, we need the Stoneforge Mystic to kind of get us there. So Subtlety hand again. No, no, no. Thank you. So I'm thinking maybe I just go with the strip mine here, since I have a lot of strip mines. And just use like a Force of Negation as a backup. We know what opponent has as a subtlety, so once we play like a Stoneforge Mystic, maybe they'll subtlety it. I might actually go with the Architect as well. They could also subtlety that. And if it's a Fatal Push, then playing this one is better because I get to shuffle away the Meteor Sword, so I think this is probably a lot better playing this card. If they subtlety this, this does mean that they don't actually have a Fatal Push. So they got rid of another subtlety. I'm actually going to keep that on top. I kind of like my hand. So it's a Psychic Frog. I'll play the Stoneforge Mystic. And I'll grab a Meteor Sword. And I'll get rid of opponent's Watery Grave. And now we still have Force of Negation to protect our Stoneforge Mystic, which is actually so sick. Okay, we let this connect. Bowmaster. Yep. Only one. Only one. So they find Watery Grave again. And they have a Psychic Frog yet again. Which isn't ideal, I would say. Guess I'll just pass now. Imagine if this wasn't a tap land. Hydroponics Architect would come out too. A shame, really. And I'd be able to equip the Meteor Sword. next turn to the Hydroponics Architect, which would also be pretty sick as well. We might actually lose to this Psychic Frog though. It's drawing quite a bit. It has drawn quite a bit here.
Perhaps there are more useful texts down on the surface.
Man. Not having that land really, really hurts right now. I think I actually have to block the Psychic Frog here. But then if they have a Fatal Push, that's pretty bad for me. I think I have to block because Tamiya's gonna transform otherwise. So maybe I should. Okay, so they're just going to force the Tamiya transformation now. Sure. This is kind of bad. This is kind of bad. Wait, but then Tamiya just... doesn't it just die immediately though? Is this even good?
This is not just a battle of arms, but of ideas.
Okay, so the best card I can get right now is a land.
Think before you act.
Right, we just need a land. Ooh, they have a blocker. So awkward. Not having another white source is making things very, very hard, isn't it? This sucks. This actually sucks. Maybe I just go like Meteor Sword on this thing and then just attack opponent twice. Maybe that'll work. Interesting.
My research is ruined.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe the trick is I just equip the Cauldron Complete and just go to town with the Meteor Sword. The Psychic Frog is... drawing so many cards though. We're like 4 cards behind right now. You know, funny thing is, if they reanimate an Aatroxa, they actually have to chump block the Cauldron Complete with the Meteor Sword, which is kind of funny. I really need another land. Hydroponics Architect. So let's say I equip the Cauldron Complete. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I die if I just... So I have a plan. So hit that. So let's say I source the Psychic Frog. If they have a flare, if they have a Force of Negation, they'll counter it. Then I play the Hydroponics Architect. And then leave up a Flare of Denial. So I actually have to let this go, right? Because I need... Yeah, I actually have to let that go. The question is, do I want to keep a mana drain up or flare of denial? In case they don't have a reanimate, I guess I have to play the architect. Maybe I should have actually attacked with these two. 2, 3, 4. I think I made a mistake. I should have... So that's what they had. I should have attacked with the Stoneforge Mystic last turn. So this is 8 damage, 9, 10. Opponent has 4. So that they go to 6. Oh. The fact that they had a Fatal Push as well. I think I did misplay though. Yeah, I misplayed this game. Yeah, I misplayed this game. Okay, so I actually got a Swords of Plowshare. I still cannot get a land for the life of me, but definitely Swords of Plowshare, not bad. Because they can do a maximum 2, 3, 4 damage, right? This is crazy. Two, 3, 4, 5. So do that. Opponent goes to 6. Ponder. Okay, let's say I counter this and I attack all. Opponent block, block. And then they'll be exactly dead, I think, right? Unless they block, block, block. Okay, this Psychic Frog has to be the greatest hit ever. Otherwise, they're dead. Oh my god, this is only game 2. That's crazy. Oh my god, this is only game 2. Oh my god. Okay, here goes nothing. How is this only game 2? Can somebody explain? How is this game 2? Yeah. That was game 2. That was game 2. Oh no, we've seen this before. This is how I lost game 1. Am I about to do it again? Maybe I'm about to do it again. Okay, I have a Containment Priest. Let's try it. Containment Priest and double strip mine. And hopefully we can get to our source to, you know, get rid of opponents like shenanigans. Okay, Flare of Denial is actually wonderful. Okay, Ponder. Sure. Ponder, sure. So do I want to strip mine or play the Hydroponics Architect with another Meticulous Archive? Or play the strip mine into a Containment Priest? So many options. I think... Let's do this, actually. I'll just leave up a Flare of Denial here. Let's see what happens here. Depending on what they do, I might actually Flare of Denial the Hydroponics Architect here. Okay, Fatal Push, sure. Okay, another Undercity Sewer. Okay, because I got Tameo, I think I'm going to do this again. If I didn't get Tameo, I might actually have just focused on Containment Priest. Maybe I could have also countered that. Yeah, maybe I should have actually countered that. Okay, another island. I'm gonna Ponder. I don't want to transform this Tameo because I have a Flare of Denial. I do want some lands right now. Opponent actually got a lot of lands. Surprisingly. That was double strip mines too. So currently I actually don't have much removals. What should I do here? So I can Stoneforge Mystic. They grabbed an island again. Really? That's a very interesting play, isn't it? Guess I have to do this then. So it was a subtlety. So if a Brazen Bee is going to kill the Tameo anyways, isn't this Flare of Denial just a removal spell for the Brazen Bee? Right? This could be Entomb. And if they top deck a Reanimate, then I lose, so I have to keep this Containment Priest here.
Ugh, I stayed up too late reading. Again.
Doesn't seem like they have anything. I'll Ponder first. I do want a fourth land. I'll shuffle away our top. I'll grab a Meteor Sword, actually. Because I actually don't have any removal spells at the moment, so I think grabbing a Meteor Sword is not bad. So they have a Treasure Cruise. That's really good, actually. Pretty insane draw with the Treasure Cruise there.
I'll aid you. So focus on the fight. Violence is not the answer.
A Psychic Frog. Okay, this actually kind of works out. Okay, so something that I actually really like about the Meteor Sword right now is the fact that it's very flexible. The fact that it can hit anything is pretty insane compared to that 3-mana card that can exile a card, which only hits creatures, by the way. And, you know, if you also get rid of that card, the creature that you exiled comes back onto the battlefield, so I quite like this Meteor Sword for that reason. It's very flexible. Alright, so I can't quite use a Strip Mine at the moment. Alright. I'll take the bite. And I'll just replay the Containment Priest. I'll Flare of Denial. Should I equip it to a Stoneforge Mystic? I think I should actually. Okay, so now they can't really reanimate anymore, which is good. Doing it now because opponent's reliance on Force of Negation. I haven't seen any other counter spell from opponent. Okay, I think that's probably game over there. Right, GG's. Alright, so I'm actually quite happy that we actually fought against two Reanimator decks. That's fairly popular at the moment. So you guys can kind of see what kind of deck we're dealing with, you know, some of the lines that you can take to beat those Reanimator decks. I think we kind of got to see almost all the cards in the deck. Cryptic Code came out, Culture Complete came out, Meteor Sword came out multiple games, 2 copies of Mana Drain was good. I think the 2 copies of Force of Negation was actually perfect. In the last video when I played Soul type version, when I had 4 copies of Force of Negation, we ran into a lot of Golgari mid-ranges where the Force of Negation was completely dead. I like the fact that this deck is playing only 2 copies of it and just have another copy of Force of Negation if you really need it. And then we have 4 copies of Flare of Denials and the Mana Drain. So this is kind of like a very control-y style, blue-white Stoneblade that is playing a lot of counter spells. Unfortunately, we still have to play Flare of Denials, I think. I did kind of predict this because of Force of Negation doesn't hit everything. It's really good against combo decks, but it's really bad against mid-range decks. So I kind of predicted that potentially you're gonna probably see yourself playing Flare of Denials and Force of Negation together. It does seem like it works pretty well here. Now, as for the mana base, the 2 Meticulous Archive may have been a little bit greedy because not only are we playing 2 copies of Meticulous Archive, we are playing a copy of a Mystic Sanctuary. Playing a Mystic Sanctuary already in itself is pretty greedy with the 4 copies of Strip Mine in the format. But I thought it was going to be okay, but a lot of the times I find myself with a lot of tap land starts, so potentially going down on Meticulous Archive is correct and just have another copy of a Hallowed Fountain. Or maybe instead of a Hallowed Fountain, we have, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So maybe we can have another fetch land. We could potentially play like double Scalding Tarn and then go down on the Polluted Delta. So we're less weak to something like a Surgical, but I don't think you're going to be getting Surgical anyways. I think most of the times using a Surgical on a fetch land is almost always wrong. So maybe this is a lot better. And as for the sideboard, we have a Batterskull to have it in instead of a Meteor Sword because, Batterskull has lifelink against like a burn deck, for example, or things like that. Batterskull is still going to be a lot better than a Meteor Sword. So we have 2 copies of Lavinia for like a show and tell matchup. And you can bring in another copy of a Force of Negation for that purpose. The Lavinia is actually one-sided, it's not symmetrical, so you can still play Force of Negation with Lavinia, which is actually a bonus if you're playing a blue-white deck. The fact that we can play Containment Priest is a huge bonus as well, right? Against a Reanimator, Source of Plowshare, Containment Priest, it's really, really good. Yeah, I quite enjoyed the blue-white Stoneblade today. Actually, before I go, let's talk about the Meteor Sword. So I did mention while I was playing with this card, the Meteor Sword was very good, but there are other options than Meteor Sword, such as this card. No, not that card. Such as this card. So this is a card that can also remove a creature on the battlefield, but it's only creature. It does have some limitations, but it does cost only 3 mana, which is nice. But something that's actually really bad about this card is, let's say if you get rid of a Aatroxa, what they can do is if they have something like a Sink to Stupor or Brazen Borrower, you can just bounce this card and then get another enter the battle effect trigger out of it. So that's another downside to this. So, but compared to the Meteor Sword, this does cost a lot, right? This does cost a lot. So it does rely pretty heavily on the Stoneforge Mystic, but it does have that flexibility, being able to just get rid of anything, including lands, by the way. So if you're playing against like a Dark Depths deck, get a Meteor Sword down, you can blow up, lands as well. Or you can even get rid of Planeswalkers. So this does have a very, very nice flexibility, and the equip cost is only 3, which can be used with the Mana Drain mana as well. It's not too bad, and it gives you a pretty sizable boost. It will end the game if you can equip it to a creature. So, for example, like Hydroponics Architect, or even Tameo, right? Tameo becoming a 3/6 creature flying. Not too shabby, right? Not too shabby. In my opinion, I thought the card was pretty good, and it's a nice flexible card that you can, tutor for with the Stoneforge Mystic if you really need that removal spell, since a lot of the times you're not always gonna have, Source of Plowshare, Prismatic Ending, things like that. So I kind of like it a lot. So yeah, that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye bye.